Hey guys, Fletch from All Things Overlanding here. On today's episode of Overlanding Gear Mods and Do-It-Yourself, I'm going to be reviewing this Aquabrick water container, and I'm going to be comparing it to my 7-gallon Aquatainer that I've had for quite a while. Let me just say that there are some big improvements that the Aquabrick has that the Aquatainer doesn't, and I'm going to run you guys through all that stuff and kind of give you my thoughts on it. Alright guys, so the big differences on these things are that the Aquabrick on the left here is about 3 gallons. The Aquatainer on the right is about 7 gallons, so it is pretty significantly bigger. A couple pros and cons of that. One, with a 3-gallon tank of the Aquabrick, it's much more manageable. Two, from a size standpoint, you'll notice just how much bigger, basically about twice as wide. It holds about twice as much water, so that makes sense, right? But so with the 7-gallon, I don't have it filled up, but if I did, it weighs, I don't even know, it's really, really heavy. I'll put up here on screen how much 7 gallons of water weighs. But so, one thing to think about when you're getting a water storage tank is the size. Like, it seemed to me a while ago that, man, if I just had a 7-gallon, I could just take that one thing on a big long trip, not have to worry about it. Again, I'm not saying that I will never use this thing again. If I'm going on like a week-long trip and I'm not going to have a lot of access to water, then the 7-gallon may make sense in that instance to take. However, in most cases, most of my trips are 2 to 4 days. So, and in most cases too, I will have some sort of access to get some water to refill it. So from a size standpoint, from a manageability standpoint, the Aquabrick is vastly superior. Because of the Aquatainer's size, there's just nowhere to even really store it in the truck. Like, I actually have to push my seats forward in the truck to be able to put this thing behind the driver's seat or the passenger seat, making myself or the passenger uncomfortable, just so that I can fit this thing inside the truck in a reasonable place. It's not like sitting on a seat or on top of a bunch of other stuff. Whereas the Aquabrick is a really nice size where it will actually fit behind my center console. So it will sit in there behind my center console, out of the way, in between leg space for, passengers, things like that. So the other pro of the Aquabrick is that it is stackable. So you notice these kind of like Lego-like extrusions there. And then on this side, it's got little divots. Basically, you can stack these things up. So again, if you're looking for modular storage, if you keep these in your house at home as like a bug out situation or just being prepared, then you could, use these at home, but then you could also grab them and take them on the road if you're going on a trip. Another thing that I will say is this thing comes with a filtration system that is on par with like a Life Straw or any of those kind of a Sawyer sort of water system. It's like 99.9% of bacteria and stuff it will filter out. And again, I'm going to be showing you those components here. On this trip, I just filled this up with tap water. So I didn't bring the filtration system because I wasn't going to be filling it from anywhere else, like a creek or a river or anything like that. But so again, that answers that question that I talked about earlier, versus having to take this huge, giant 7-gallon tank. If I brought this with the filtration system, let's say to the Ozarks, where there's tons of water crossings, there's tons of creeks and things like that, I could fill from one of those creeks and then use the filtration system to make it drinkable water, which is a really huge benefit and a big saver of space. So from a construction standpoint, let's talk about the differences in these things from a construction standpoint. So you'll notice that this thing already, I've only used this thing 4 or 5 times, but the cap is attached to this little rinky-dink plastic thing, and that severed maybe trip 2 or 3. This is the vent, of course, to like let air vent out of it when you're dispensing water. But it's just, the whole thing is like really sort of chintzy and thin and not very well made. Again, it will hold water, right? So if you just need it to hold water, it'll do that thing until it punctures, right? If it hits something sharp, it would pretty easily puncture. And you can see here just how thin the walls are of this thing. So then when we look at the Aquatainer, when I take that lid off, these walls are much thicker. This whole thing, it doesn't bend, it doesn't flex, it's not a cheap piece of plastic like that thing. This thing is like thick and hard. So it's a nice thick container that should be much more puncture resistant than the Aquatainer. One of the actual nice things about the Aquatainer, one of the things that I do like is that this dispenser, right, just a normal sort of like, you turn it and water comes out, right? The kind of cool thing is you can actually unscrew the nozzle from the cover, screw it back in on the inside of it, just like this. And then you can actually put the lid on just like that. So the pro of that is it keeps the nozzle from getting broken off or snapped off. if you're like transporting this in your vehicle. The con of that is this is where your water normally flows through, and now it's completely open to the elements. So if you're off-roading in a place that's dusty or sandy, that stuff's going to be going down in this thing, which is where your water comes from. So make sure you rinse that out when you get to camp. So overall, quality-wise, the Aquabrick is way superior to the Aquatainer. The maneuverability, the usability of the Aquabrick, far superior. The fact that it's stackable is awesome. The fact that it has a filtration system that you can get with it is awesome. I would highly recommend this thing, and I'm definitely going to be using this 99% of the time going forward over my Aquatainer. If you're looking for one of these things, I actually got mine from an awesome company called Overland Cookware. Fantastic guy, you know, US-based guy that just started up this small company doing really high-line cookware type stuff, water storage, food storage, that kind of stuff. So I will put a link in the description below to his website. Definitely go there and check this thing out. Check out all the stuff that he's got, because I mean, I found a bunch of stuff on there. I bought a bunch of stuff because it was just so awesome. So anyways, definitely go check him out. Go check out this Aquabrick. If you are looking for water storage solutions, this is a great option. And make sure to click subscribe and the bell button to be notified when new videos drop. I drop a couple videos a week, so, you know, I would love it if you guys subscribe just so you can come back and see the next videos. All overlanding stuff, Xterra stuff, trip reports, and gear reviews. So if that's something that interests you, definitely click that subscribe button.